Hello friends, and welcome to my August TBR. So friends, we need to talk. We need to talk. It's been like a month and a half since I've posted anything. Some of this has just kind of been the amazing readathon slump, which I think a lot of us have been feeling. But some of it has just been the fact that my personal life and my mental health have been a little bit of a mess for the last little bit. So I'm gonna do, also, I'm so sweaty. It was like, I don't even know how hot it was today. I normally am inside in front of the air conditioning, but I had a baby shower to go to this afternoon. So I was in like a very hot, unair conditioned, not very well ventilated garage all afternoon, and my hair is just going everywhere. But I know if I put off doing this video anymore, I won't do it. So we need to just film it and we'll be fine. Anyway, so I'm gonna start off with a little bit of a story time about what's kind of a life update about what's been going on and where I've been. If you don't care about that, if you just want to skip ahead to my TBR, I fully understand that. I'll have like a timestamp or something on the screen so that you can, or maybe I can figure out how to do those like chapter things that other people have on their videos. How do you do that? I don't know. Maybe I'll do some research. So if you don't want to watch this story time, I fully understand. But if you want to stick around for 10 minutes and let me, as quickly as I possibly can, tell you about what's been going on in my life for the last couple months, I will do that. At some point in a vlog, I can't remember whether it was one that you guys ever actually saw or if it was one that I haven't uploaded yet or one that I ended up scrapping. I don't remember the details. I hinted at my mother giving me some health news about herself. And that was all I said, I think, in that video. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer a couple months ago now. She didn't actually tell me for a little while that this was going on. She did a mammogram. They thought they saw something. She had to go to a bigger hospital and do another mammogram. I think she ended up having to do like 5 mammograms and then a biopsy. She waited until the results of the biopsy had come back before she told me anything because she really didn't think there was anything wrong. Her mother had some spots that ended up just being like calcifications that weren't anything serious. So that's all she truly believed that it was. She really didn't believe that it would be cancerous. Unfortunately, it did end up being cancerous. Essentially, from what I understand, if you're going to have breast cancer, this is the best kind to have. It is very unlikely to spread anywhere else. And they caught it very early. It was a very small little spot. So they were able to remove it surgically. They didn't have to like do a full mastectomy or anything. They were able to just take out the tumor itself. They did that surgery at the beginning of July and she's recovered very well from that. They had good margins. They're like, you know, as sure as you can be that they got all of the cancer. She still is going to have to go through radiation. She has her first radiation treatment in a couple days. And then she'll have to have that for 4 weeks, I think. But they believe that she has a really good prognosis, that they got everything. Obviously, even if you think everything is going well, it's been a lot to deal with. It's been a lot of doctor's appointments. It's been a lot of just spending as much time, honestly, as I can with her. Besides that, this little one turned a year old at the end of July. So we were planning his party, and all of that. So that was all a lot. And then, you know, a little bittersweet when your baby turns 1. It's a little bittersweet. Especially since I've talked a little bit about this. I someday maybe I'll do like a whole video about all of this, but for now, I've mentioned before that it was kind of a long journey to get him here. I dealt with years of infertility, and when I finally did get pregnant, I dealt with 2 pretty significant like later losses, like late 2nd trimester losses, which were obviously quite traumatic. And yeah, so it was, you know, it took a lot of medical intervention to get him here, not to get pregnant, but to stay pregnant. I don't want to go too much into all the medical details again of that, but yeah, it was a journey. So with how difficult it was for me to stay pregnant, I had a very difficult pregnancy with him. I had a lot of pain. I was very sick. My blood pressure started to get really high at the end of it, and they started to worry about preeclampsia, so I ended up actually being induced. My body just doesn't seem to like pregnancy. It just doesn't really react that well to it. And so with all of that, he will very likely be our only child. You know, which is something that I'm dealing with. And also the kind of the anniversaries of my losses, both of the losses were also within the last like month and a half. One of them was in late June and one of them was in mid-July. It's been a long like couple months. Like I said, my mental health just has been not great. So yeah, it's been a journey. We're not gonna cry, okay? It's not gonna be that kind of video. I have just been watching a lot of Netflix and watching a lot of YouTube and not doing a lot of reading. I think I read 8 books in July, which is probably not my all-time low ever, but like it's not great. It's not very many books. I did film a July TBR. I never got it out to you guys, but I did film one. So I'm still holding myself to the game that I played of TBR Race and all of that. So we're still gonna take care of some punishments and all of that. I actually have not updated the punishment wheel and actually spun it yet, but we will be adding a punishment. Before we get into all of that, let's talk very quickly about what I have going on for readathons, buddy reads, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to talk to you guys about the Friends Challenge. I'm so behind at this point. I actually did manage to complete 2 out of the 4 July challenges, kind of mostly by accident. But I do still have 2 that I need to complete. And then I have 1 from June that I never completed. As far as the monthly challenges anyway. And I haven't even looked at the August ones yet. But I'm not going to worry about those right now. We're not going to worry about those. As far as like Patreon readathons, stuff like that, I have abandoned Becca's Alpha Ho book club. I actually ended up DNFing Daughter of No Worlds. I'm really sad because I really loved the Serpent and the Wings of Night, but Daughter of No Worlds, I just wasn't vibing with it, man. I just wasn't vibing with it. It was, I wasn't connecting with the characters. I didn't really fully understand what was going on in the story, and I just ended up being like, you know what, I can't. I'm not enjoying this. We're gonna move on with our lives. Leandra from the TBR Zero, her patron buddy read, her patron book club, the Only Murders in the Book Club, is that what she calls it? I think that's what she calls it. She's actually increased that to every other month instead of being every month. So her pick for that for July and August is The Searcher by Tana French, which I'm actually like over halfway through. I've been listening to it on audio. It's very slow. It's a very slow, like almost kind of a literary mystery. I shouldn't say it's not what I was expecting, because I have read a Tana French book in the past. I read In the Woods, which is the first book in the Dublin Murder Squad, and that one is also very slow, very character based, and yeah, it's very similar to that. But anyway, I'm enjoying it, but I think if I wasn't listening to the audiobook, I would be much more frustrated with how slowly it's going. And I think that's all I'm going to mention, because we have a couple other like Patreon buddy reads going on, but I don't know 100% if I'm actually going to be participating in any of them, so I think that's all that we're going to talk about. So the readathons that I'm going to be participating in August are PickPongathon and Battleathon. So Battleathon is being hosted by Mel from Eleanor Reads, and it is a competitive team readathon where there are no prompts. It's based on basically 5-star predictions. So whatever rating you give the book, that's what the points are based on. So the higher you rate a book, the more points you get for your team. So you're just trying to read books that you think that you're going to love, essentially. There are bonus prompts based on the team that you're on. So I am on Team Snakes, so we get a bonus for reading books that have wicked words in the title. So things like death, murder, blood, bones, I think is one that's been brought up. Snakes works too. It's very open to interpretation. You know, it's just something that seems evil, basically. Obviously, that's pretty simple to participate in. Just read books you think you're gonna like. And even if it's books that you don't think you're gonna like, but you just have to read for the month, at least you can still get some points for your team. And then PickPongathon is hosted by Crystal from Bon Book Reviews, and it is based on her like Pickpong monthly TBR game that she plays. And this year it is team based, and essentially each team has 3 hosts, so each host plays the game of Pickpong for 3 prompts. So you have 9 prompts total that you are trying to read for your team. I do know what those are already, but you are not supposed to share them. You'll also get bonuses for indie published, LGBT representation, and BIPOC representation. And then if you finish those 9 prompts, there are also 10 host prompts from Crystal. And then I believe there's going to be some other shenanigans along the way, but we'll see what happens when we get there. So those are the readathons that I'm participating in. I'm sure there'll be some other like Patreon things here and there too, but those are the 2 like big readathons I'm participating in. So let's talk really quickly about the books that I was supposed to have read in July that I didn't read. Oh my god, I'm looking down through this, guys. So, again, you didn't see it, but I got 7. I played my TBR race. I landed on the green. I did the green track. And I got 7 books, plus a punishment book because I didn't complete June's TBR. And I only read 1 of them. 1. I read 8 books. They just weren't the books that I was supposed to be reading, which is, you know, it's fine. Anyway, I'm not even going to pull them off of my shelf. Some of them are right here, but I'm not even pulling them off. So my punishment read was The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, and I did not read it. So that is now going to get added to the punishment wheel a second time, so it'll be on there twice, because I have now not read it twice. My first roll, I got Spring, and for that I picked A Maverick to Remarry, which is a Harlequin romance novel. I did not read it. My next roll, I got Annabelle on the cover, and I picked A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and I did read that one. It's the one that I read. Next, my next roll was romance, and actually, I picked Reckless for this, and I have started Reckless. I didn't finish it, but I have started it, so that counts, guys. It counts. It's not going on the punishment wheel. And even if it did, like, I'm reading it anyway, so even if it got put on the punishment wheel, it would just come off anyway. Roll number 4 was an ebook. For that, I picked Sidetracked by S.T. Abbey. Is that who those books were by? It's the second book in the Mindfucked series. And I didn't read that. Roll number 5 was a mood read. I picked Magic Lies and Deadly Pies by Misha Pop. I did not read it. Cozy Mystery, didn't read it. Roll number 6 was LGBT. I picked A Long Time Dead, which is this one, by Samara Breger. Did not read it, and I actually did that intentionally. Mirroring is weird. I didn't read it intentionally because it has the word dead in the title, so I knew it would work for Battleathon, so I intentionally saved it for August. And then I don't know what the child and the puppy are doing over there. I'm sorry for the noise. And then my last roll pick, my mood read, was Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I didn't read it, guys. I love Emily Henry. Why did I not read that book? I don't know. Anyway, I am also taking off, I believe Powerless was on the punishment wheel, and that will be coming off of the punishment wheel because I read it, so it doesn't need to be on there anymore. So let's pick, oh my god, I'm not gonna do the punishment spin right now. I'm not gonna show it to you because I haven't updated the punishment wheel. All right, we'll do it at the end of everything, okay? I'm taking green out because that was the last route that I did, even though you didn't see it. But anyway. I also have ordered, hopefully for my September TBR, I will have a new board where the writing is not all smudgy. I've ordered a new one. It hasn't. Anyway, I'm also annoyed that I paid like $5 for the one that I have, and they're now $15 on Amazon, so that sucks. But anyway, all right, let's pick which color. It would be kind of cool if we got red because that's the only color we haven't gotten yet, but we'll get what we get, right? I swear to God, I did not rig this. I didn't. I swear. I wasn't looking. I reached in and I grabbed it. I swear. Oh my god, everybody's gonna think I'm lying now and that I just like did that on purpose. I swear the other ones were in there, okay? Anyway. Alright. Let's play TBR Race. Alright guys, roll number 1. Ooh, 3. Ooh, +7. +8. Wait a minute, is that right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A mom wreck. Alright, so we're just gonna address the elephant in the room here. It's obviously a different day. I'm wearing a different shirt. the lighting is all different. I'm filming the second half of this on a different day than I filmed the first half. We'll ignore that. So my first role was a mom wreck. And I may end up regretting all of my life decisions. But I'm picking Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. Is that what? Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. By Diana Gabaldon. Not sure how to pronounce her name. The Outlander series was definitely a series in general that I read because of my mother. The first book, Outlander, follows Claire as she travels from the 1940s through accidentally through standing stones and ends up in like the 1700s, I think. And she's an English woman, and so she ends up in Scotland at a time when the English and Scottish are at war. And so she ends up having to marry a Scottish man in order to kind of protect herself, and then is kind of trying to fit in with and not let people know that she's from the future, and kind of try to make a life for herself while kind of trying to figure out how to get back to her own time and to her husband in her own time, but at the same time kind of falling in love with Jamie, who she has married in the 1700s, and kind of deciding whether or not she even really wants to go back to her own time, or if she wants to stay with Jamie in her time. This is the 9th book. This is the most recently published. I believe there's going to be one more that has not come out yet, and then the series will be over. Obviously, I can't really tell you anything about this because the series spans years and years and years and years. This is a really long book, guys. This is a, like, almost 900-page book. They do tend to be pretty fast to read, though, once you get into them. Some of these books, honestly, I must say, this may be controversial. I think the first book, Outlander, stands on its own as a standalone. I think you could just read the first book and not read the entire, what will be 10-book series that are all really long. I think some of the books, towards the middle of the series in particular, Diana Gabaldon gets a little Stephen King-ish in that her editors just let her do whatever she wants and don't tell her when she probably should edit a book down a little bit and make it a little shorter. There's a lot of just like slice of life, like homesteading and farming and like growing vegetables and gathering herbs that happens. That's not 100% necessary to the story. And so some of those, I would say books 2 to like 5.5, if I remember correctly, are kind of slogs. I actually remember I think books 2 and 3 I really didn't like at all. But anyway, I've gotten this far. We're going to continue on the series. I do love these characters and I love her writing. And as long as there's enough action going on, they can be pretty fast paced. And so this book has been out for like 2 or 3 years, and I really just need to read it so that I'm prepared for the 10th book to come out eventually. So yeah, probably will be saving this to the end of August to make sure that I've read all the other books, but this is my mom wreck. Roll number 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 5. 4, 5, 6. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish a series. Editing Stacy popping in here because I have actually changed my mind about the book that I was originally going to read for this prompt, which counts because I haven't uploaded the video yet, so I'm still allowed to change my mind. I was originally going to use Hopeless by Elsie Silver for this, which is the last book in the Chestnut Springs series. However, I have since decided to DNF Reckless, which is the second to last book in that series, and have actually decided to at least put off finishing the series, if not like not finish the series at all. I haven't like completely decided yet, but I'm definitely not reading Hopeless in August. I'm kind of over Elsie Silver right now. So the book that I've ended up deciding to use for this instead for finish a series is Chosen by the Alien King by Lindsay R. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I will put that up somewhere. So that is the fifth and final book in the Alien Love Island series, which is a very fun little like alien romance series following a human and an alien who both end up kind of accidentally being entered into a alien Love Island reality show without their knowledge or consent, and listen, it was a fun time, okay? It was a fun time. I will say the first book was just like what I needed at the time, and then the books have kind of gone downhill since then, but I still want to finish out the series and read this last one and find out what happens at the end of the series. Roll number 3. One, two, three, 4. Beautiful cover. Roll number 3 is a beautiful cover, and I am honestly spoiled for choice with this one because I have bought so many books recently, and then also just kind of had so many books come to my attention recently that are so beautiful. And so I actually had a really hard time deciding what I was going to read for this one because I have so many that I want to read. But I've decided to go with House of Bane and Blood. Is that what it's called? House of Bane and Blood. I can't remember the author's name. It is available on KU. So that's where I have gotten it for now. This is a recommendation from Bree from Four Paws in a Book. She basically said the male main character of this is like is very like Kaz Brecker from Six of Crows, but it's a romantasy book. That's really all I needed to hear. It's kind of like a fantasy, like a mafia romance, but in a fantasy world. And it's like, I think it's a forced marriage, and then they end up falling in love. And I'm here for it. I feel like I haven't read enough romantasy lately, and I'm kind of itching to read some, so. Roll number 4. We are zooming around this board, guys. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm having trouble reading it because it's so smudged, but I think it says sad book. I think it says sad book. It's this one right here. You guys can let me know if you think it says something different. I think it says sad book. Roll number 4 is a sad book. And I have been putting off this book for a really long time, but the month where we're having a readathon that's basically based on 5-star predictions is a pretty good time to read it because I'm pretty sure I'm really gonna love it. I've just been putting it off because I also think it's gonna make me cry. And that is My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman. This is about a little girl whose grandmother dies, and she leaves her letters. Yeah, a series of letters apologizing to people that she has wronged. So Elsa, this little girl, has to go travel to visit all of these people and deliver these letters. I have lost all 4 of my grandparents at this point. My last grandmother, who was still alive, I lost fairly recently, just like a couple weeks after I had Logan. She got to hold him and she died like the next week. And so I'm pretty sure this is gonna bring up some stuff for me. It's gonna make me sad. But I've loved everything that I have read by him. I haven't read a ton by him, but I've read a couple things by him, and he has such wonderful characters and such a beautiful writing style, and I think I'm really gonna love this book. Roll number 5, which might be our last roll. And it for sure is. Alright, so that's our mood read. And that's it, guys. We made it to the end of the board. That was weirdly easy. 5 books plus our punishment book, which we'll talk about in a second. So, for my mood read, again, this works well to have a mood read. I mean, I have a mood read at the end of every game, but this is a good month to have a mood read because it's Battleathon, where essentially you're just trying to read books you think you're really gonna like. So I have picked Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. I intended to read this last month for reasons that I don't fully remember. It wasn't on my TBR last month, but I had kind of like low-key in the back of my head decided to read it and then didn't get to it. So hopefully I will get to it. I've heard that this compared to Legends and Lattes. In fact, I actually fairly recently heard that it was too similar to Legends and Lattes, and so somebody who had read Legends and Lattes actually didn't enjoy this that much just because it was too similar and it felt like the same book over again. So we'll see how I feel about that. But mostly I've heard really good things about this, so I'm pretty excited to read this. I believe this was Stephanie from Stephanie's Book versus Patreon pick like a couple months ago. I think I'm very late to that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I got the copy with the pretty sprayed edges, and I actually got this for $1 at Goodwill. Can you believe that? I don't understand Goodwill sometimes, and sometimes like new release books are like $9 there, or like something that seems ridiculous for being a Goodwill, and then sometimes they're $1, so you never know. So going back to our punishment book, I have updated the wheel and I did spin the wheel, so I will put that here somewhere. But we got The Last Housewife again, so you know, whatever. Hopefully I actually read it this month. We'll see. Hopefully I actually read it. I am also, honestly, I feel like my reading mojo is coming back. I do hope that I'm going to end up reading more in August than I did in July. So I'm hoping to actually get to a lot of the books that I had planned on reading last month, because I'm looking at you, funny story. I'm gonna read you this month. A lot of the books that I had said I was gonna read last month, I really wanted to read. I just wasn't in a reading mood. But I feel like the gears are turning again, the wheels are turning, where I'm actually wanting to read again. So I'm hoping to get through actually quite a few of the books that I put on the punishment wheel because I didn't read them last month, but I still want to read them. So maybe we'll read some of those off and clear some of those off. Another book that I wanted to mention really quickly that I will also be reading in August is Rage by Stephen King, or by Richard Bachman. Is it Richard Bachman? This is one of the Bachman books that he wrote as a different name for reasons that I don't fully understand. And this is a book that's actually out of print, but I did find a copy for not too expensive. God, a copy of the Bachman books, like with Rage included, because it's out of print, is it can be like $100+ on eBay or on any like used book site. But I managed to find one on Amazon for like $40, which is insanely cheap actually, considering the prices I found all of the other ones at. And it's out of print because it is about a school shooting, and so Stephen King made the decision, I believe, like after Columbine and a couple other like really big like school shootings that happened, he made the decision to take the book out of print because he didn't want to be inspiring anything, basically. But Gavin from Gavin Reads It All is reading all of Stephen King's backlist in publication order, and so I've kind of decided to join in with him on that. And he posted the first video already, and the only book from the first video that I had not read is Rage. So that should be arriving any day now, and I will be reading that also this month so that I can finish watching Gavin's video, because he is spoiling everything. So I don't want to watch it until I've actually read the book. So that's it, guys. That's what I hope to read in August. Hopefully I will read more than this. Hopefully, maybe for the first time since I've started playing this TBR game, I'll actually be able to complete my TBR. But yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys in my next video, which hopefully I will actually have another video. Hopefully we'll get back in the groove here of filming and editing and actually putting videos up. Maybe we'll see. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos that I hopefully actually put out, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.